which are just slightly delayed to them. So it isn't really worth having the information there anymore. They can't use it to their advantage. Big drama into the chicane. That was Osborne getting into the back of the Toyota, Chris Smiley and Dan Lloyd, Restart Racing Hyundai, being given a bit of a shovel off the road. Right, have a look at what went on a lap ago. So that's Osborne getting into the back of Dan Lloyd. I think Shedden got caught up in it as well and had to go through the bypass, as it were. They skipped back onto the circuit, but not a great start to the weekend for Dan Lloyd.
No, that's a shame, and it was purely a mistake by Sam Osborne, just left his braking too late.
The boost. Meanwhile, this is the replay of a bit of contact. That was, oh dear, Josh Cook getting turned towards the tyres, bouncing through, a safety car deployed. So that was with Chilton, wasn't it? Out. All right, let's have a look here. This was the contact between Chilton and Cook. Cook gets sideways, bang! That's a massive whack. I'm amazed he's still in the race.
Yeah, and this is, I mean,
late, accelerates away, bit of bunching behind him, and Michael Crease is off the road because he accelerated before others, so he's off the road. He's got one of the sponsor hoardings wrapped around the front of the car. That ain't going to help the cooling, that's for sure. Sutton leads, Ingram is second.
Conventional restart, but more importantly, Ingram is glued to the back of Ash Sutton's bumper.
And a big slide there. That's Rainford off the road. Charles Rainford through the gravel, and he's found the tyres, has he? Yes, he has. He just glances off them. Go on, Charles, keep it going. Tries to dig himself out the other side.
The other new regulation is that those that finish in the first three, as we have Mikey Doble right into the back of Cook. Cook's been roughed up something rotten in this race, hasn't he?
Back on track, so clearly there was a problem, as we'd seen. And that was Gordon Shedden versus Max Hall. That's no way to treat a triple champion.
No, no respecter, is he, of a man with...
Rowbottom second, but Jake Hill tries to squeeze up the inside, and then behind, out of the Camish-Sutton battle, that was Sutton going wide. That's Hamilton in the gravel. Nick Hamilton trying to keep his car going, get up the other side. I think he will just about do so. And then you've got James Dorlin's Toyota on the soft right up behind, and James is really flying here. Whoops, he gets into the back of Shedden, and Gordon has a big moment into the chicane. Is he going to survive? He is. Others have to scatter, including one of his teammates there. And he just gets away with it, as up the inside for second place goes Ingram. So let's have another look at this drama for Shedden. I think it was Dorlin into the back of him. He came across the front of Hill. It's a big tank slapper. People have to scatter in avoidance. Dan Lloyd on the outside. Aaron Taylor-Smith went through the crowd.
Oh, that's Dan Lloyd. That's Dan Lloyd, yeah.
On the last lap, he hasn't got to the line.
No, he hasn't. Oh, what a shame.
And the car looking a bit hot and bothered. I think Dan's trying to attract the attention of somebody with a fire extinguisher. What happened? He got squeezed onto the grass, and that clogs up everything. He avoids pretty much everything solid, but I suspect after that the temperatures will have gone off the clock. And goes up to 8, so it's an improvement, but not enough, and a red flag because Moffat's in the gravel. Aidan Moffat is in the gravel on the outside of Paddock Hill Bend. And this is the replay of Aidan Moffat coming up to Paddock and getting it wrong.
Oh, the curb sent him. He took the curb and it just sent the car. He's been a little bit wild, dare I say it, already, but that curb just unsettled the car. It wouldn't stick, would it?
It's Josh Cook, who is 7th, so he's almost there, and that's Hamilton getting it wrong at Clark. He's going to get back onto the circuit, but so too is the gravel and the dust, and he will drag onto the road. This is Tom Chilton. The margin between a hard and a soft lap time is coming down. That's Aidan Moffat ahead of us. You're on board with Chilton. That's where Moffat spent qualifying in the gravel, and he has a big moment again, just cuts across in front of Chilton, but they then lose places, don't they, to the Toyota there.
Fighting off, but he's actually the second runner on the hard tyres.
Nick Hamilton in replay, having a moment at Clark Curve, bouncing back onto the road, and there you see, rounding out the top 10 on the road. Remember, Osborne has got a penalty. You've still got 3 of the 4 drivers on hards in that top 10, and a big sort-out sub. Osborne goes one side, there's contact there that fires Chris Smiley way across the grass, and he's having a huge moment. It's Dan Lloyd, in fact, so apologies, Dan Lloyd's restart Hyundai is the one that got clipped onto the grass, but that was just everybody going for the same piece of tarmac.
Dan Lloyd was unfortunate, and he was trying to take avoiding action, but of course he's now, and we've got an off at Paddock.
Big off at Paddock with lots and lots of dust settling then, so there's a car well and truly beached in the gravel as the leading cars.
Yeah, they're both buried, aren't they? We'll have to, it may have been an innocent mistake, but they were both on the soft tyre, so it wasn't as though there was a tyre difference there. Look, teammates going to have a word with each other. All looks, no, not friendly.
No.
Not friendly at all. Yeah, who at the time, look, has got Max Hall running in front of him. In fact, running very much a blocking manoeuvre. Well, they were definitely getting stuck into each other. Look, already Patterson and Hall. That opened the door for Chilton to go through, but that might have been a precursor of what transpired a little bit later between those two teammates.
Well, accelerate away to the pit lane. Jake Hill absolutely storms away by getting a big gap. Now, Dan Camish got a problem because he slowed right down and others were looking to try to find a way past him, which you're not meant to do, but he has stopped. He stopped and there's almost a traffic jam behind him. Look, Aidan Moffat has got into the back of him and has only now got going. Look at the damage on Camish's car. It has stopped on the track, and this is going to make the safety car stay out potentially. Well, it's come into the pit lane, but Camish is stranded on the track. There's broken suspension. It could have been something electrical that he was trying to sort, but with suspension damage, there's no chance of getting going now. Here you are again. Look, Jake Hill accelerates. Dan Camish can't go with him. It suddenly becomes apparent to some of those behind that the car has a problem.
Charles Rainford doesn't know what...
Darrell de
Leon doesn't know what to do. Eventually they do go past.
And then Aidan Moffat in a moment is amongst those. Yes, Mikey Doble as well, that just had nowhere to go as the pack split and bang into the back of him.
Oh, he's thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Oh.
Bang, bang. Hits two of them.
Yeah, that was... I'd be amazed if there isn't more damage on both cars.
This is how Gordon Shedden saw it, with cars scattering all over the place.
Well, Rainford, don't forget, is on the same hard tyre that Hill is, so he's certainly not helping his teammates. Oh, no! Doble got turned. That was Moffat, I think, that just got into the back of him.
Contact between the two. Mikey Doble then on Cooper Straight. He's not got going yet, but he's about to be. There he is. Then you can see the witness mark. So bad result for Mikey Doble. 27 laps, the new distance confirmed. He's 3 seconds back. Replay here. Aaron Taylor-Smith versus Michael Crease going up towards Surtees. Crease gets elbow towards the foliage, and Gordon Shedden dives up the inside of his teammate. We didn't at the time know what had happened. Well, we now do. We've got the onboards. This is from Max Hall. Tim.
Yeah, turning into the corner, everything looks okay, and then arrives Dexter Patterson at the front corner. And, you know, from that viewpoint, you'd think that Dexter Patterson had just sort of driven through him. But you need to see the other onboard, and this is from Dexter Patterson. He's got a tremendous run at Max Hall, goes to the inside, gets all the way alongside. He's aiming towards the apex, so it looks like he hasn't run wide. Obviously Max Hall at some point has got to turn into the corner, but it does look very different from the two different onboards, and that's why you can never rely on just one piece of video evidence to apportion blame.
Is he ever? Ingram is having to go defensive, and that might play into Dan Camish's hands. In fourth, it's Adam Morgan. Rowbottom is fifth. In sixth place is Dan Lloyd. Mikey Doble is hanging on to seventh. Whips the Toyotas getting themselves together, and Jake Hill gets turned around. He was the innocent party in all of that. You had two Toyotas side by side. Jake Hill got tagged.
Here we see a replay. Look at the two Toyotas behind. They're fighting each other. They're so busy looking at each other that they tag the back of Jake Hill's car and force him into a spin.
I think it may have been Aaron Taylor-Smith on the inside getting crowded. That's Charles Rainford on the grass in the back. And then 8th and 9th, Doble from Cook on the hard tyre. 10th is Smiley. And a replay here of a bit of hit and shoulder going on that forces Nick Halstead rally crossing, coming out of Coram and scrabbling his way back towards tarmac.
Well, he'll be pleased that grass was not.
As we have a replay here of Max Hall getting a little bit crossed up, coming down towards turn 12. Bang! Straight into the side of Gordon Shedden, breaks the suspension. Nothing Shedden could do about that. He was totally the innocent victim.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Max Hall because, as well, I mean, not as much as Shedden, but...
Remember, if you see on that graphic, the little turbo indicator go green. Big slide there from Ingram, who's in the wall, coming off turn 1, clatters the barrier, and he's broken the suspension.
Yeah, right front suspension is damaged and broken.
And that is bad news. Tom Ingram limps on, but he's going to have to be a retirement. Now, was there contact coming into the corner? He's all sideways. He tries to save it. He finds the barrier, and that damages the rear suspension.
Oh, we've got to read another look now at the incident. Well, it looked like, in actual fact, it looked like Rowbottom's car was quite a long way away from Ingram's there, didn't it? Maybe Ingram just got wide. That'll be the test lap to see whether he can stay in front.
Well, indeed, getting a replay. Mikey Doble getting all caught up, coming down to the S's, and Spears across the grass. Who was he battling with? It was Sam Osborne at the start of the lap. So I think the Vauxhall and the Ford got themselves together, and after a big scare, Mikey Doble rejoins after a colossal Co-Brown moment at the end of Bentley Straight.
Well, he rejoined, and he's actually still in front. Look, he rejoined just in front of Sam Osborne.
So the race leaders then come onto Bentley Straight. Big off Stephen Jelly into the barriers. So Stephen Jelly gets spat out of the pack. And he's had another rotten day as well. That may be an interruption to the race.
So we're watching Sutton. Watch Sutton in the black and yellow car. He's on the inside there. I'm just trying to work out how he gets from 10th all the way to 4th. Oh, there was the touching, the first corner.
That makes it all a bit crowded going up to the first corner. Rowbottom is on the outside ahead of us. Look, Rainford into the back of Cook. Cook gets a little bit sideways.
Yeah, but holds it. That's okay. That's not...
And this Dan Camish's view as well, going up to the first corner. See the BMWs ahead. Aidan Moffat is the one that takes to the weeds. Aaron Taylor-Smith right in front of us, and eventually Camish finds a gap on the inside there. Stephen Jelly ahead.
Yeah, Camish actually did the right thing and backed out of that. The road got blocked, even though he had the momentum.
There's Daryl De Leon alongside him. So Jelly's about to turn into the corner. There's De Leon up the inside. And Ingram on the inside. Daryl De Leon was with Jelly.
Yeah, Daryl De Leon just turned Jelly a little bit, and then Ingram caught the front of it, which pitched him off. But certainly wasn't Ingram's fault, and certainly wasn't Jelly's fault.
We understand that Chris Smiley's travails now a high-pressure fuel pump. So he is effectively out of the race, and Charles Ray
trying to beat each other on the hard tyres.
Nicholas Hamilton in replay. This is coming out of Riches, and the car gets a little bit crossed up, and a big lose onto the grass. Nick Hamilton will be able to rejoin the race from there, but that's a fast part of the racetrack. Right, Sutton clears Cook as we get a replay of down at the S's side by side. Camish getting up the inside of Ronan Pearson. That all got a bit ugly.
Well, having got past Jake Hill, and he then clattered into Ronan Pearson and gave that position back to Hill. So that was a little bit messy. They are struggling with Lloyd in 8th, Jelly. Oh,
that's Osborne coming over the line. Sam Osborne's had a moment coming out of the chicane. He's demolished the sponsors' hoardings. He takes the flag on the grass.
Looked like it was sort of before the corner, really, very early on in the corner. So we might have a replay of that, but it was, here he comes. Oh yeah, look, he lost it very early. Now I wonder if that was just aquaplaning. The car picked up. It looked like it to me.
Because it was way too early to be turning, wasn't it, really? And Nicholas Hamilton is having another moment, I fear, in replay.
This is coming round Goodwood.
Yeah. And the back just gets away from him.
Now, that's the same sort of slide, isn't it? That's very odd to see a car just lose it like that twice.
Nicholas Hamilton has pitted, so he's clearly concerned about that car. Adam Morgan junks that lap, and we are already down to just under 4 minutes. So let's go on board. This is what happened to Adam Morgan.
He just ran out of road, literally ran out of road. Once the rears got on that wet part, they lost the rear. You heard him jump on the throttle to try and save it, but he was at momentum and inertia are two things you can't... well, he was fighting not to get track limits again. He was staying well off the... Oh,
that's cool.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's a big hit, and if the King of Thruxton can go off the road, that shows you how perilous it is. Red flag thrown straight away. A lot of damage for Josh Cook's car. The irony being that he was in the top 6, but he will now lose his best lap time for being the cause of the red flag, and Josh Cook's day has come to an end because of the damage. There he is, hobbling a bit out of the car, so that was quite a whack. And Josh with Paul Trafford, with the spectacles on, and Nick Jones, the Toka medical team. Here's the replay.
It's out the back, and oh, he's getting wide, he's trying to save it, but look, the same place Adam Morgan went off, and once you're off like that, look at the car, it makes me wince, because it's appearing to speed up, and it went in nearly head first into the tyre wall. The tyre wall did its job, but of course the grass just can't slow down, and yeah, we've got he's hobbling, probably had his foot on the brake as he went in and jarred his foot. He's now thinking about the damage. Yeah, this is coming out again of Goodwood and into Village. You can't see the exit of the road here, so you predict where the car's going to end up, but he must have known he was going to run out of room. And of course, oh, such a hard hit, isn't it, when you see it again even at full speed. There was no way of him saving that. He's aching. Oh, he's aching. So let's see. Oh, another big spin for Senna Proctor. Same place, going round Goodwood on Village. Same place we've seen.
Right, Max Hall has just gone by to do a lap time, and another one off the road into the tyres.
That's Tom. That's Adam Morgan who's gone off. He's reversing out, so that won't. I think it's turn one. I'm sure that's turn one.
It's out the back again. Look, he's way off through Goodwood. So,
well, those that have crossed the line before the flag came out are obviously still going and still pushing. That was Adam Morgan's spin. Same place. He just gently nosed it into the barrier, but didn't really cause any damage. This is Morgan's spin coming out of the complex, and he hits that puddle on the left. There's a puddle right on the left, so it wasn't out of Goodwood where we saw Josh Cook go off, or where indeed Morgan's gone off before. Yeah. It was between the complex.
This is James Dorlin, the car twitching its way up Woodham Hill into the chicane. So if it all goes wrong for him like this, big slide into a spin, the worst he's going to be is sixth. The round he goes, but he's avoided anything solid as he kept the engine running. Not yet, I fear, does the car move? Yes, it does now. Well done, James. So he finds a gear, sets off. It's a good start by Sutton, not a great start by Camish in comparison to Doble, who's almost up alongside him, but Sutton has certainly got the drop on Ingram. Jake Hill round the outside of Senna Proctor, and a very sideways Chilton in the middle of the pack. Has he been able to save it as the cars come up towards us? Yes, he has, but there's a BMW off the road as well in the background, having a big lose. It's Charles Rainford who's gone around and around, a real magic roundabout job that. It will drop him to the back of the field. Have another look at the start. Now have a look at Chilton. He's up the curb, he hits Proctor, he gets all sideways.
Gets sideways, and it's actually Rainford goes off on the left in avoidance, comes back across the track. Fortunately, nobody collects him. That could have been very nasty. Yeah. Shades of Adam Morgan back in the Mercedes a few years ago. And it's through Noble and Goodwood, I think, that the incident occurs. Looking ahead, can I see? Oh, it looks like Osborne lost it on the right. Osborne lost it. Oh no, that's Hall. Max Hall's lost it on the right, and come back across the road and collected Osborne. Gets a good start. He's got.
There's Rainford on the grass, straight across on the right. Tries to catch the slide. Big scary moment for Rainford. So Morgan should be ahead of that drama that's triggered the safety car. He's up to 11th, incidentally, by the end of the opening lap. He gets involved there with Dexter Patterson, does Adam Morgan. And there you can see cars need moving barrier
on Morgan Road bottom. Not the best start, look. He's lost several positions, not only to the fast-starting rear-wheel drive BMWs, but also to the front-wheel drive cars in front of him. Oh, that was a big old moment.
Whoa, so was that.
That was a big one. It just opened up nicely for him. It's probably just as well he made a bad start. Yeah. He will tell us he did that deliberately to avoid that incident.
Gets a bit of a toe off Ingram, who gets a toe from Sutton. To the inside line goes Sutton, to the outside line goes Ingram. He's done it once here to get the lead. Sutton right on the limit as the car quivers under braking. They clash. Camish is going to go through for the lead. They skip out the chicane, arguably gain an advantage in so doing. Proctor's off the road as well. Ingram comes through in the lead. Fantastic. Josh Cook goes by. No ill effects of yesterday's off, that's for sure at the moment, as he goes up towards Noble. And that contact, Proctor gets into Shedden, who's on the grass. The car is sideways. He's back on the tarmac, and mercifully nobody collects him.
So Sutton doesn't want to let him through. The car is hopping, skipping and bumping, and then look, he just wipes Ingram off the road to the outside. I mean, the unfortunate one really, I guess, is Camish, because he should have inherited the lead.
Would he argue that they gained an advantage by being off the track like that? They didn't slow much.
Well, they didn't slow much, and the question is, did they come out further ahead than they went in? That's the touch from Senna Proctor on the back of Gordon Shedden, and you're right, he did pick up a load of grass in the inlet, but fortunately, the car didn't spear back across the road. He ended up losing the rear tyres at the end. They got too much oversteer. This is on board with Shedden, and he went off in avoidance, didn't he?
Yeah, of Chilton. So Tom Chilton having a lose going round Church, and Gordon Shedden having to take to the grass.
Got the run. Hill goes to defend to the inside, making Morgan go all the way round the outside. He'll be last of the late breakers.
Here they come. Morgan's used all of the boost for that lap, and they make contact. Jake Hill gets into the side of him. Morgan gets turned sideways. He tries to skip the chicane. He has to barge his way through those markers that stop you cutting the chicane. But Adam, he's run out of boost at about this point. He's on the outside heading up to the chicane. Morgan's got his nose in front. There's the contact.
Yeah, I mean, he did brake later, didn't he? So he was marginally in front and decided to go right through the middle, split those two barriers. And this is a better look at it. Look, just in front on the brakes. And, well, I mean, in fairness, Jake was sort of going in a straight line and Morgan was slightly turning into the corner.
The leader getting away. Now, this might tell us about Hill and Rowbottom. Let's have a look. That's Rowbottom off the road, and well, Jake Hill almost followed him, but he gets all the grass thrown at him by Rowbottom.
Inside, is he going to do a Rowbottom and all the way around the... He's teeing it up, and he's done it. Oh, side by side, they clash. Ingram gets wide on the grass. He'll have to lift off. Very close. You can see how hard it is from the on-board just to sort of spot the actual limitations of track limits at the chicane. There's nothing to visually show it. So very difficult. And Morgan, oh, off. That is Adam Morgan.
That's at Allard, that's at turn 1. Adam Morgan in the wall. That'll be the safety car Josh Cook needs, surely, to get that out of the way, because it's damaged the barrier, there's a damaged car, and so Adam Morgan is off the road. But how did he get there? That's the next question.
This is where we lost the footage before. He's actually not close, is he? Oh, he got a wheel on the grass. He got a wheel on the grass on the left, trying to widen the entry to Allard. That was, I hate to say it, Adam, that was all your own fault. But your eye line is to the left. You watch his wheels on the... there, just as he leans on the left-hand side, he's got the wheels on the grass. But your eye line is looking into the corner. It's not looking to the left at the outside of the track. So a small mistake had big consequences, I'm afraid, for Adam Morgan.
We're back racing at Thruxton, and it is Dan Rowbottom in the lead on the restart. This is the restart lap. He's got Jake Hill and Dan Camish behind him, and big drama for another of the Toyotas. It's Ronan Pearson with the bonnet up.
Yeah, either the pins have come loose or there's been a bit of contact. It's popped the bonnet up on Ronan Pearson's car, so it's been this is his view. Believe me, he can see a little bit out the bottom, the gap below the bottom of the bonnet, but he can't go at race speed, obviously, and will have to go into the pits. Yeah, he's got all that grass. Oh, look at it all pouring out the front radiator. But how did he lose it? Comes through Allard and then through Noble, sorry. Oh, he had Sutton on his outside. He actually had Sutton already around the outside. They were both trying to make it through the corner. And we've seen so many times the cars just end up going to the outside of the track. This is on board. Mikey Doble's view. Grass and dirt all over the track. How Sutton managed to spin and keep going so quickly. Here's another one. Look, it looks like Hill had a bit of a moment coming out of the complex. Sutton gets well alongside. Hill has got a lack of pace on the way in. Oh, and he touches the rear quarter, even though there was a bit of room, and then they both run out wide.
We are suddenly down to 3 more minutes on the clock, so it's push, push, push. Lloyd goes fastest, a 1:24.6. Bearing in mind his teammate Smiley was quickest in the other group, so we understand
I think he had a moment.
Yeah. Senna Proctor, another lap disallowed. He hasn't got a time here, so Proctor, wow, that was a slide and a half, wasn't it, from Chris Smiley? Wow.
Well held, that man.
Blimey. 23.856 then. Tom Ingram into the 23s, and a spin for Morgan coming out of Old Hall corner.
Well, that puts a yellow flag out there, so nobody could go quicker.
Coming out of Old Hall, he was able to rejoin. He did improve his lap time, but he wasn't able to haul himself up from 6th. Accelerate now, down towards Cascades once again. This is Daryl De Leon, right into the back of Sam Osborne. Bang, bang, forces him wide. Osborne drifts out wide, and De Leon goes through. And also up the inside goes Aidan Moffat. And that was a little bit brutal.
That was, and it's a naughty place to do it because the driver has so little room on the edge of the track before running off wide. Aidan Moffat running a little bit wide there, getting on that damp part of the track. Oh, that's going to spin Osborne round into the barriers. That was Stephen Jelly in the One Motorsport car, just leaning on each other. It looks like they've got away with it relatively lightly, actually.
It is not Sam Osborne's lap, is it? So he's been roughed up at Cascades and duffed up coming out of the hairpin. Here's the replay then. Keep your eyes on the Napa Fords that run through side by side. Jelly gets up the inside.
Yeah, and there's just not room. I mean, they're so tight there because Osborne himself was side by side with Rowbottom.
That is Cook versus Jake Hill. And Josh flings the car through as Max Hall gets sideways in the background. And I rather fear that he may have got caught up with others. Let's see, because they wriggle their way through. Yeah, he's got big damage. Look, bodywork, broken suspension. And Max Hall is bound for the pits and retirement. So he did get sideways and he did get collected.
This is obviously the blue and yellow car is Hall on the right-hand side. And I think there's a touch there.
Yes.
That's the touch that broke the toe link.
And that was his teammate, Dexter Patterson. And remember what happened between the two of them at Brands Hatch. They fell out and they made contact here as well. Right, fly on the wall in that garage.
1.3 seconds behind.
Absolutely right. So up front it's still Ingram as contact turns Smith around, and that in turn puts him into the side of the BMW, and Aidan Moffat is the one that came off worst. 3 into 1 did not go.
Yeah, well,
Up the order, go on.
here we see it coming into shot, I think, at the bottom of the shot, and there it is. The BMW tags the Toyota. Is this the onboard? This is onboard De Leon. Look, he just tags Taylor Smith. He can't brake, and Taylor Smith then fires into the other BMW, and through goes De Leon. But that was definitely caused by De Leon, and I think he'll get a penalty for that.
And that's not his only little bit of contact in the race, is it?
That's ball in race 1 and got a penalty for. Yeah. So although he lost the position there, that was he needs to watch himself.
And that is how Nick Halstead came to grief, being roughed up coming into his lot, so getting turned around. And that is bad news, because that is Dan Lloyd off the road, and the safety car has been deployed. Dan Lloyd is off the racetrack. So
that's a very fast part. Side by side racing and touching another car is the only way you spear off there.
Let's have a look at a replay and try and piece it together. Good news is Dan's okay.
Yeah, there was something. That was a big hit. Good job. The tyres and the foam did a really good job there of protecting that impact area, didn't they? Did a really good job. On board, it's horrible to see.
That'll have rattled Dan out.
Well, Oulton Park hasn't been good to poor old Dan Lloyd, where he had that huge crash previously coming over out of the hairpin. But I couldn't see if there was another car close by then. But
so right now, Ash Sutton leads the way, but I think this could be a good couple of laps of safety car. Right, let's have another look. Oh, something's broken. Well, to be on that,
I'm still not convinced, because when he came into shot, well, that's as a result of hitting the tyres. I think the damage on the. I'm still convinced it could have been.
Let's have another look at Dan Lloyd's demise.
I mean, the only,
Let's quickly tidy up that Dan Lloyd situation. You heard him saying on the grid he felt he was squeezed by Josh Cook. Tim, let's have a look at this.
Yeah, this is a much better view we'll get, because what happens is he gets a run out of Knickerbrook. That's Josh Cook in front. Look, he's got momentum, he's got a run. He goes to the inside, and he feels that Cook squeezed him onto the grass. He was all 4 wheels on the grass and lost control completely. I mean, not his fault, but as I suspected when I first saw it, there had to have been another car involved. Cook pushed me on the grass is his explanation. There was some room between them.
Adapt to it maybe a little bit better. Sutton goes by. The margin 0.4 of a second at the start of the lap. Big send up the inside there. Look, and contact, and way off the road into the barrier goes the BMW. A big hit, more damage, I'm afraid. And that is Charles Rainford BMW that is out of the race. They were together as they crossed the line. Well, Charles Rainford's BMW, amazingly, still goes, but the barrier damage may be a concern to race control, and the scrutineers won't like all that. But look at that, the Recticel dragged onto the runoff area. Let's see what happens next.
Cascades, that was a good move by De Leon.
Was indeed, so that now moves him up the order. Oh, that was rather less impressive, into the back of Mikey Dogle.
Has that done the radiator?
Smoke out of the front.
Well, he's not scampering away, is he? They're keeping him honest that it was... Rowbottom puts the lights on, again signalling intent, but Cookie blocks him, but outbrakes himself! Oh, Cookie was looking in the mirrors to defend from Rowbottom. He outbraked himself. Down the inside, throws the Camish, but don't forget there's more grip on the outside now. Sutton's got a great run on the both of them.
So Sutton tries to get ahead of Camish and gets all sideways again. Sutton goes through, charges on now as you get the replay of what happened to Camish on the inside, sideways.
Little bit of contact there. Here, listen to the wheel spin on Sutton's car. He didn't want to lift off at all, did he?
Jake Hill is getting closer and closer and closer. Let's have a look at what happened to Tom Ingram here, being roughed up by Mikey Doble down at Hislop. So a bit of hip and shoulder. Ting bounces back onto the track.
Bounces on the track, no advantage.
Jake Hill now tries to assert himself once more. Down to Hislop. It's still Gordon Sheridan in the lead ahead of Hill. Sutton third, Robot at fourth, and driver in the background. Mikey Doble gets hit. He gets turned across the front. I think everyone's missed him. And who went into the back of him? Is that Chilton's Hyundai? I think it is. So Tom Chilton got into the back, and he's obviously bound for the pit lane.
Obviously can't carry on like that, even though he can see underneath the front of the bonnet. And there's poor Mikey Doble's car nose into the barrier. He might be able to reverse out of there, actually.
He is still there, and the laps are ticking on down. Here comes Chilton, bang, into the back of Doble.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cars having problems braking there, gently into the barrier, so he should be able to reverse that out.
A damaged car, and he's out of the race, and a lot of damage. It wasn't just the bonnet popping up, was it, on Tom Chilton's car? Look at the front, really mangled.
Yeah, well, when you lock up, the car almost accelerates, and I mean, it doesn't look that bad, does it? But I guess the one car braking and one car almost speeding up, and